singer Tyrese of the Fast and Furious franchise, and all the other movies we know him for, Baby Boy with Taraji P. Henson, and y'all, all the other things we know him for currently now. And that being posting to his IG, sharing with us what is going on in his life. Y'all, and this time is no different, okay? This time, Tyrese has recently shared with us, um, I would say, a moment of miraculous recovery, a moment of life-saving actions, a moment of vulnerability when he's expressing how thankful he is to be here even now to speak about this. He told us about a situation whereas he was definitely saved from losing his very you know what, okay? Now, Tyrese tells it in very poignant and vivid detail. So if you all can just check out his post about it, you will truly be in awe of how this man was spared, as well as his friend, okay? So he and his friend were on a road trip, and they were talking, and at some point they needed to refill on gas. And Tyrese tells the story of himself being in the back of his Sprinter with the windows that you can't see through, and he was just back in his Sprinter, he says, lying down, okay? His friend stops for gas and fills the tank up. And so after getting back onto the road, his friend told him, man, Tyrese, I got the pedal to the metal, meaning his foot was all the way down on that pedal, and the car was still just jumping and moving and idling. And in that moment, Tyrese said, well, man, pull over. And so they pulled over into an area of grass, okay? Not the road itself, because at that time, Tyrese said that, he told him, don't pull over onto the pavement, pull further over onto the road, onto the grass. And so he did that. And so each of them got out of the car, and what did they see? They saw the most horrific thing. They saw fire all underneath the car, all where the gas tank was. They saw nothing but fire. And it was in such a blaze until Tyrese couldn't do anything but gasp in whatever emotion he was feeling at that time. All he could do was gasp. And of course, we all know Tyrese for being a thankful man of God. He's always talking about God and how it is something to really thrive toward in a relationship with God. And this, y'all, is no different. This man is feeling such gratitude, such appreciation, such love for God right now, because he said only God saved both he and his friend from this situation that could have been, whereas we would not be hearing from Tyrese right now. And y'all, I just wanted to commend Tyrese on this, for sharing this, because he told about how it was really something to be in awe of, because he in no way, with as much as he says, he's smart and he thinks about this and he can do this and he's creative and he can do that, he says he didn't do this. He did not do this. And I say, you know what? We know that only God can save from a situation like that. But we do also know that you listened to God, Tyrese, because you said yourself that you told your friend to pull over into the grass area, okay? Which is very important, because if not, being on the road, that could have done some other things to, you know, uh, not get you out of that situation. But to pull into the grass, I think that meant something there. So I will say that you were listening to God. Your ears were open. And y'all, it is so very important in this day and age that you have a relationship with the Creator, master of this universe, because you need to hear him in times like this. You need to hear when he says, no, go here. No, go there. You need to hear him when he says, get out of that car. I remember of a situation a young lady told, whereas she was in a car and something happened to her, and she reflected back on how many times she heard the voice of God tell her to get out of the car. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Get out of this car now. And y'all, it is so very important. And Tyrese stresses that in the video as well, in the post. He says, y'all, stop missing out, okay? If there was ever to be anybody telling you about missing out on something, this is the one to hear. Don't miss out on a relationship with the Creator and Master of this universe, who knows all. He knows every iota of the future and what is happening in your life. So once again, I just want to thank God myself for saving Tyrese and his friend, and any other person that could have been affected by that situation, with a trail of fire blazing from the gas tank of this man's Sprinter. I just want to thank God for that. And I thank God for Tyrese, because he continues to share with us, and I would say in moments of power, because when this man comes on here and shows his vulnerability like that, that's power, man. That's power, when a man is not afraid, and more specifically, a man is not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. He's not ashamed to say who brought him thus far. That's power. There is no greater power than to reveal the God of the universe in your life. There is no greater power. And so, yes, we see him on here, and he made a joke of it himself. We see him on here crying. He said, oh, it's him again crying. That's all right, brother. You are crying, but you know what? Your tears are tears of power. You are crying in a stance of power, in a stance of dignity and knowledge. Never be ashamed to acknowledge the relationship that you have with your Creator. And so I commend you, and I thank God for you. And I just wanted to let you all know that. Check out his video. It is all inspiring.